In this postmodern era, there appears to be a philosophy designed to convince us that we are not able to do what we were created to do. We live in a world where we sometimes fail to realize to speak to existence everything we want to see occur. Someone asked me the other day after posting a video where I indicated that marriage is needed to actually save our society and is needed to actually make America great. Some ask me, how could I even conceive of an idea or a vision when we live in a world filled with so much envy, jealousy, strife, fear, doubt, and unbelief? And as I listened to the feedback, it became quite apparent to me that we have allowed this particular dispensation to convince us that we can't do anything beyond the obvious. Historically, our ancestors a situation where they couldn't control their destiny. But the one thing they wanted to control and did everything they could to control was keeping the family together. And by keeping the family together, they were able to achieve, as recently as the 1970s, a 70% rate for intact family structures. Those structures may not have been perfect, but it provided what was necessary to see, I know, my generation be committed to the concept and the reality of marriage. As a matter of fact, I thank God my mother had the bodaciousness to leave the South and move north. Opportunity had been an inappropriate experience in the South, watching my father abuse my mother. God's providence, and in response to prayer, prompted my mother to accept an invitation to go north. And because of that, myself and my brothers and sisters were able to witness, see, and view a man love a woman. And because of that, it put in me and drove into my consciousness and my spirit the belief in marriage. He accomplished in 25 years what many have never accomplished. So what's happened to where men will sit around all day how bad they are, how sad they are, all the way to the point of saying they no longer would even date, let alone consider marrying them? What's happened? Why is that the case? I believe it's the case because we bought into the lie, and we have perpetuated the lie by articulating and confessing, not realizing that we ourselves oftentimes may be the very problem and the very reason why things appear to be so unstable. Have you ever really taken the time yourself to look in the mirror and ask yourself some basic questions? Did I myself come out of an intact family structure? If I didn't, was my single parent, be it a mother, father, to me for need as an adult? If they were not, or if she or she were not, was I around enough family members who modeled before me an example of what oneness or balance between a male and a female can be and should be in marriage? And even in that case, I can assure you, you probably had dysfunctional in your person. And these personality gaps and this dysfunction would be things that would not be recognizable until you were in serious relationships with someone else. Only at that time would they present themselves. You never know what you're going to be like or how you'll respond to a situation that you never faced until that situation presents itself. I believe that because we have many gaps in our personality, that we look for reasons to blame others. And I'm going to speak specifically for a few moments as it relates to men. How many of us have been able to see or view the model that I presented a few moments ago when I mentioned my father, who became my adopted father, loving my mother? And as I was able to view that and see that for 25 years, it afforded me the opportunity to learn how to love unconditionally, to learn how to give, to learn how not to hold a grudge, to learn how to be in disagreement but not disagreeable, to learn how to be the first to say, I'm sorry, will you forgive me? Not out of weakness, but out of strength. Oftentimes in this particular dispensation, we think, feel, and believe that if I'm sorry, that for some reason it's a weakness. In reality, it's the greatest strength you can have. It's something about the human being responding to those words, will you forgive me? You unleash then a power none of us truly understand. However, it is something that once we hear it, it does something to our inner spirit, provides us an opportunity to come back into agreement. I wanted to just share briefly today that we need to stop allowing the strategy that was released to destroy our families be successful. Stop sitting around as men speaking negatively against your mother, against your sister, against your grandma, your nieces. Because see, when you sit around and you speak death into the possibility of relationships, that's who you are condemning. And that's whose words your words are coming against and going against. Your mothers, your grandmothers, your sisters, your daughters, your neighbors. Words have power. And when we speak those words, we're built in such a manner, we want to see those words manifest in the flesh. That's the dichotomy of the human experience. I close today by simply saying, assess your thought processes. Be careful. And if you're married, don't be guilty of condemning or saying negative things about your spouse. If you're not married, but you're dating someone that potentially could be, don't sit around saying negative things about them. Force yourself to think on the good things about that person, about your spouse. They perhaps provide to you the opportunity opportunity to perfect that which is imperfect, to get rid of those dysfunctions that perhaps exist in you. Peace, love, and understanding. Let's build up each other, not tear each other down.